Power scaling, the method of determining a character's power through looking at feats they performed in canon. Recently I've been quite obsessed with power scaling in shows such as My Hero Academia, Naruto, and that show for steroid addicts, what's it called? Dragon's Balls? And I've been thinking, with anime it's no doubt that the main characters of each show are absolute powerhouses, but with Western shows, we never really analyze how strong they really are. So, that's my mission today. I will be power scaling 60 cartoon protagonists, but there are some rules. First is, I'll be looking at their most recent consistent forms. So even though technically Ben 10K is the most recent, I'll be using Omniverse Ben since that's technically the version of him that is the main character. Second, I'll be using their base forms. Now, that doesn't mean they can't use transformations if they have any. It just means that I'm not counting any power-ups that they don't have in their base arsenal. Third, is the hypothetical arena that I'm using to power scale them is blank. Now you might be wondering what I mean by that. I mean that no matter how strong a character is, they cannot destroy the arena to give them some sort of advantage. Trust me, this rule is very important. And finally, rule number 4. Take this with a grain of salt, it's all for fun. I'll be going through our 60 characters via their specific tiers. Anyway, enough talk. Let's begin. The first tier is lower dimensional level. This level is for the characters that are below our normal 3D world. So, if a character is seen as a second dimensional character, compared to other characters in its own universe, it's lower dimensional. The first character in this tier is Blue from Blue's Clues. Now I know what you're saying. Wait, but most characters in Blue's Clues are 2D, it's just the style. Well, see, in the Blue's Clues spin-off, Blue's Room, Blue turns into a 3D puppet. And plus, all the humans in Blue's Clues are very obviously third dimensional. So this proves that Blue is outside of our third dimension. Well, I mean, outside sounds like he's bigger, but it's kind of small. Anyway, the next character, and final for our lower dimensional tier, is Space Ghost. Now hold up. I can already see some of you typing out that Space Ghost is not lower dimensional, that he had his own soul where he was a superhero. Well, that's true, but I'm ranking Space Ghost from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, not his original show. The original Space Ghost is very strong with his elemental power bands and invisibility belt, but in Coast to Coast, he is seen interacting with third-dimensional beings like Conan, and any constant interaction with third-dimensional beings by proxy makes you second-dimensional. Sorry Space Ghost, but you're bottom tier. Our next tier is below average human level, characters that are weak compared to the average Joe you find on the street. And right now I'm gonna pair these three together. Tommy Pickles, Eric Cartman, and Charlie Brown. While Eric has wall-level durability, he is constantly portrayed as the weakest in South Park, ranking lowest in the entire country in fitness. Charlie Brown's whole character is that he's weak, so there's no debate there, and Tommy Pickles is a literal baby. These three are for sure some of the weakest characters in fiction. Now, the next two are kind of debatable. First is George Jetson. Now in the Jetsons, we never see any weapons that could kill anybody, but it is the future, so the possibility is out of this world. But with the increased technology shown in the Jetsons, it's basically all but confirmed that George would be weak in a fight against normal people. Increased laziness and all that. And the next is Timmy Turner. Hey, wait a minute. Now at first I was debating if I should include his fairies, but then I thought, the rules don't allow harm on others. And remember, the arena is blank, so they really couldn't harm anybody without breaking the rules. And in terms of Timmy's average strength, he's constantly shown as a weak kid. I'm gonna clump these next two tiers together, the human and athlete tiers, as they both belong to the general human category. The two characters in the human tier, BoJack Horseman and Doug Funny, have shown basic human feats, but nothing that shows that they are as weak as the below average tier. Yes, that includes BoJack. While he's all washed up, he's still half horse, so he has some general strength. Also, I do believe Doug Funny could beat up George Jetson if he had to. The athlete tier is for characters who've, at most, shown some great speed and maneuvering. This includes Penny Proud from the Proud Family, Phineas Flynn from Phineas and Ferb, and Chris McLean from Total Drama Island. All three of these characters have shown that they know their way around any given area, and in the case of Phineas and Chris, they're really good at moving. Now, there is a character between Phineas and Chris that needs some explaining, and it's Milo from Milo Murphy's Law. Oh, but Murphy's Law, everyone would die, duh. Well, that's not the case. Remember the blank arena. That ability does almost nothing for Milo, who himself has no attack strength. Plus, Murphy's Law states that anything that can go wrong will go wrong, which here heavily implies death. The next tier is street level. These are characters with force above an athlete. Now, it doesn't literally mean that they could defeat a street's worth of people. It's honestly just a title. A basis for this is Scooby-Doo, who doesn't really do any crazy feats, but he's pretty comparable to other characters in the main cast, like Fred, who's ripped off a zombie's head, which I don't know if you know this, but Yeah, that takes some force. But the next character in street level is a little hard to decide. Arnold from Hey Arnold. It's not that he looks weak, it's that his attack feats are pretty insane. He's learned martial arts, which would normally put him at athlete or low street level, but in the episode Mugged, he punched someone so hard that their clothes melted. Now, since that didn't kill them, the best I can assume for his strength is street level. The next tier is wall level characters who can significantly damage extremely resistant materials such as stone, metal, or steel, and similar parts of construction like borders and walls. Most Western cartoon characters are in the wall tier, as the most goofy feats are wall levels of strength. This includes people such as Fred Flintstone and Garfield, with the latter having the ability to rip off a whole ass tree. Dipper Pines, while he was shown to be weak at the start, eventually he has overpowered characters with wall level feats, like the multi-bear and the gnomes, which by association makes him wall level. It would take ages to talk about every character in detail, so let's do a lightning round. SpongeBob survives several explosions and has harmed those who have also survived them. Popeye could hit people so hard that metal bends. Kim Possible can match up to Shigo, who can bend concrete, and Otis has traded blows with Krauser Krebs, a literal wall buster. The next two characters in the tier are sort of hard to define and might be a little controversial. Rick Sanchez and Jimmy Neutron. Now, these two, and someone else later on, are objective geniuses. If we were power scaling based on intelligence, they would be at the top. But we have to put into consideration that it's a blank arena, and that they're only carrying what they would carry on an average episode, their base arsenal. While Jimmy has shown planet-busting feats, it was only when he built it knowing he wanted to destroy a planet. Same with Rick. While he's shown universe-destroying feats, there's no evidence that he carries weapons that do more than a wall level of damage on him on a consistent basis. So here, he would just have his base arsenal, which, to be fair, wall level is pretty strong for an old man and a little kid. Next level is building level. Now, normally it would be separated into small building, medium building, and large building, but I decided to put it all into one tier. Our first two characters in this tier include Eddie from Ed, Edd n Eddy, and Homer Simpson. These characters are here for the feats of harming others who can survive building level attacks, like Principal Skinner and Ed. Two more characters that I'm pairing together are Robin from Teen Titans and Batman from Batman the Animated Series. Now you have to remember it's these specific iterations of the characters I've named, not their comic or other show counterparts. Both of these characters take beatings from and defeat building level villains all the time, like Cinder Blocks and the DCAU Joker, who takes a whole lot to be honest. Other characters in this tier include Johnny Bravo, who broke through the Great Wall of China, Gumball, who can injure Mr. Robinson, who tanked a nuclear explosion, Peter Griffin, whose durability feats and fights with a giant chicken are enough to prove anything, Rapunzel, who can fight against a giant mech, Jake Long, who can melt 2 steel beams, and Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory.
How is Dexter stronger than Rick? Oh my god.
Well, let's look. Dexter can harm both Dee Dee and Mandark, two characters who can tank explosions without harm. So yeah, Dexter is for sure large building levels of strength even without his extra inventions. Next level is City Block. Now this could be someone with feats of destroying a city block, multiple city blocks, or an equivalent of that. The first one is a tough pickle, Korra from The Legend of Korra. Most sources cite her as large building levels, and she's obviously stronger than Kid Tough and Kid Katara, but her spirit energy cannon was for sure a city level attack. But in this hypothetical battle, she wouldn't be able to replicate it. So in between large building and city level would be an average city block. I know I'm being very nice, but it's the best I can do with the evidence I've gathered. Bro, I sound like a nerd, lol. Next is KO from OKKO, who, by the end of the series, merges with TKO, someone who can launch people out of orbit, which, yes, that takes a little bit of strength. Next is Static from Static Shock. Yes, his name is Static, not Static Shock. You plebes. How strong is he? Well, he's someone who's knocked out power in the entire city of Dakota, so imagine the amount of power he could attack with. And that's just the DCAU version of Static. The comics version is absolutely insane, but hey, I might save that for a later video. Next is Samurai Jack, who often overcomes enemies that hurt him. Now, why is that a good feat? Oh, because he's tanked multiple attacks from Ultra Robots. These are robots who have destroyed over half of a city, so yeah. Next two characters are Johnny Test and Jerry from Tom and Jerry. Again, they go through some cartoony madness, like surviving large explosions and moving large buildings. The next tier is Town Level, filled with characters who can either destroy a town or injure characters of town level durability. First is Zim, someone who without many inventions can injure Dib, a character who tanked an explosion that not only destroyed several robots but also created a large crater. Then is the simp of all simps, Mordecai from Regular Show. Originally, I thought he was just gonna be average, maybe wall level, but then I remembered, Mordecai knows a few moves in Death Kwon Do, and Death Kwon Do can do this, so... He's also stronger than Rigby, a literal town buster. Our next 4 characters are action heroes. Leonardo from the 2003 show, XJ9 from My Life as a Teenage Robot, Rex from Generator X, and Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender. Leonardo, who defeated the 2003 Shredder, XJ9, who launched a rocket into Mars and stopped a meteor, and Aang, who overpowered Lord Ozai, who was shown town buster feats. Now for Rex, that's where I had some trouble. In the final episode of Generator X, he gained universe level abilities, but he did have to use the Meta Nanites, an item which he destroyed after his use. So in this hypothetical battle, he would still be town levels, as he took on 5 members of the Consortium, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and technically only lost due to bad timing of his memories and stuff. The next 2 tiers are actually empty. Yeah, the city level and mountain level tiers are completely empty, which is surprising, because it seems like characters that you would have assumed are in these tiers are pretty above. The next level is island level, and the characters that occupy the tier are some cute ones. Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and Blossom from the Powerpuff Girls. Stitch here shows off that he can go toe-to-toe with enemies that can harm him. Stitch's durability is also island level, as he just shrugs off attacks that covered Hawaii. The entirety of Hawaii. The whole thing. Goddamn. The other characters are Blossom from the Powerpuff Girls, a character who nullified an entire solar flare. Which, yeah, that takes a lot of energy. Next level is country level, which is also completely empty, but the one above that is continental. Characters that can destroy an entire continent and or multiple, and this is also where the tiers start getting filled with fewer and fewer characters, with this tier only having one, Steven Goddamn Universe. Now here we're counting Steven from Steven Universe Future as, like the rule says, it's his most recent consistent form, as it is an entire series. If we ignore Steven's mental breakdowns, he's still a diamond, and all sources claim that diamonds have multi-continental buster levels of power. And some people in the comments are probably going to be saying, oh my god, the crack in homeworld was caused by Pink Diamond, but, you know, it's just a theory. The next level is moon level, and the one person in it is Finn the Human, who put up a decent fight with the elemental Flame Princess, and also constantly fights the Ice King, who can create storms across entire kingdoms and froze the entire planet. That was technically an alternate universe, but it's still the same Ice King powers, so shut up. He also constantly fights villains that show moon levels of destructive force. Above that is planet level, which can range from small planets to uber large ones. And in this tier is Optimus Prime from the original Transformers series, which, to be honest, isn't that surprising. Most Transformers characters are planet busters like Megatron, which Optimus defeated multiple times. You know, Megatron, someone who survived an explosion that moved the whole planet. The next tier is star level. Star level is a whole sun. So, and of course, the 2 characters who are above action heroes like Steven Universe, Finn the Human, and Optimus Prime are Bugs Bunny and Courage the Cowardly Dog. Don't believe me? Well, Bugs Bunny has injured Yosemite Sam, someone who, in a fight with Marvin the Martian, created not 1, not 3, but 2 constellations. The other one, Courage the Cowardly Dog, is odd. If he's so strong, why is he so scared? Well, my answer to that is no one cares. Courage can physically injure one of his owners, Eustache Bage. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. Oh my god. The comments are gonna eat my ass, bro. Oh, Mr. Bage survived an explosion that turned him into a constellation of 88 stars. What if he turned into the constellation? How did he survive it? Shut up. Bitch. Now technically those 88 stars were not a solar system, which is the next tier. Solar system levels is how strong Goku was at the end of Dragon Ball Z, and this is where 2 characters come in. Danny Phantom, and the DCAU version of Superman. First one is Danny Phantom. Now, to start off with, I thought I made a mistake since I placed him into a solar system level tier for his feats in the Fenton suit, but then I did some more research and saw that Danny's Ghostly Whale, this move, is in itself solar system levels, since it caused some notable harm to his future self, which apparently caused constant destruction to the Ghost Zone for 10 years, without defeat. The Ghost Zone contains several villains strong enough to go against the Ghost Faria Dark, who creates solar systems. So yeah, Danny's pretty good. Oh, and Superman can injure solar system level characters like Doomsday and Cyborg Superman. Woohoo, now we're in the top 3 strongest tiers: Galaxy, Universe, and Multiverse. That's not including characters that are outside of our comprehension, like 4th dimensional and 5th dimensional characters, but there's no one there, so we're good. Let's begin. The first characters in these 3 tiers is Uncle Grandpa in Galaxy level, which most people wouldn't believe. You know, it seems like no one watched Uncle Grandpa, but you know, the man himself shaved a portion of the universe off. Just like that. Now, what characters could be stronger than someone who just shaved a part of the universe? Well, of course, someone who can harm a man who destroyed the embodiment of space-time. Star Butterfly from Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Yup, with her magic, and nothing else, Star is universe levels. She casually one-shotted Toffee, someone who completely destroyed Omnitraxus Prime. That's just Optimus Prime. She killed Optimus. This man, Omnitraxus, is a living space-time continuum, and Toffee defeated him in a single blast without effort, and Star defeated Toffee in a single hit. Someone else in this tier is the GOAT, Twilight Sparkle. Now, most of y'all degenerates wouldn't know her feats, so let me explain real quick. She defeated Nightmare Moon, who has the powers of a literal god because of her alicorn powers. Then she defeated Discord, the god of chaos. Then she defeated Sombra, someone who takes 2 alicorns, gods, to defeat. And then she had a one-on-one fist fight with Lord Tirek. Hoof fight. And this is Tirek after he absorbed the powers of not only every character in the town, but also 3 alicorns and the god of chaos. Oh yeah, she's also a goddamn alicorn herself, so yeah, she's pretty tough. Now the next character on this list was so hard to find evidence for. He's in literally everything. He's a Mario of animation. Mickey Mouse. I've looked everywhere, and the fact is, you could put him anywhere on this list, but most power scaling forums consider Mickey Mouse universe levels, and I could sit here and explain every little feat he's done, but it would be way easier to just leave it and see who tries to prove me wrong. Go ahead. You won't. Now who could be stronger than someone who defeated space-time, someone who defeats gods on a seasonal basis, and Mickey Mouse? Do I really have to tell y'all? It's Ben 10. Ben 10 is the strongest character on this list. He's on a multiversal level. Yes, multiple universes, and this isn't Ben 10K, Ben 10,000, or Ultimate Ben. This is 16 or 17-year-old Ben. He's multiversal levels, and it's all because of Alien X. Someone who can do anything and everything. And even if it wasn't for that, Ben can still time travel, has Atomics, who is basically just Goku as an alien. Well, a different alien, has a giant form, and several aliens that are geniuses. Oh yeah, also I didn't mention it, but he can't die. The Omnitrix has a failsafe that doesn't let Ben die. The only way he could really lose his battle is if he died of old age. That's it. Hey guys, I didn't really write an outro for this video. Thank you for watching. This took way too long. I don't even know how much time this has been going on, but it's a good video and I hope you liked it. If you really enjoyed it, click subscribe, share it with your friends, please. This is gonna get some panties twisted, some minds riled, some apples salted. I hope you enjoy. See you in my next video. Hopefully it's not as well, it's gonna be pretty long too. But I'm really liking this style of video. I don't actually really know what to do anymore. Subscribe. What do I say? Oh yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I especially hope that all you had a damn good one. Peace.